Okay, we have another chemistry tip for today, a quick one. And today I want to talk about chemical labeled and when we're using bottles of either our solid chemicals or our liquid chemicals. The very first thing we want to make sure when we're using any chemical, and I'll be honest with you, you're probably not going to actually be touching the bottle very often, but it's important to know what to do when you are ever get to touch these bottles or use the actual chemical. So the very first thing we want to do is make sure we check the label of everything that we're using, and we want to make sure that we're using the right ingredient and also maybe the right concentration depending on whatever it is. We also want to make sure we check out any warning signs on here, okay? Different labels will have different warning signs, and it's important to kind of know what the warning signs are. So for example, this one had exclamation point. That just means that it's going to have a note, an important note to note. And so in this situation, it causes severe eye irritation. So we want to make sure we keep this out of our eyes, okay? Whereas this one here, you have a little diamond with a flame on it. Pretty common sense what that one means. That one means that it is going to be flammable. It also, it says that it's corrosive as well on there. So we have to be very careful when we're using these. There will also be a little hazard down here on the bottom. All right, so when we're using a solid, okay, we're not just going to dump it out. We're not going to put it in our hands or anything else like that. We'll use something like this. This is a metal scoop, okay? And we'll just simply grab some of the solid out of the metal scoop. Now the question is, what are we going to put it in or on? Most of the time we'll use something like this. This is a piece of weighing paper. We could use an eye dish here, a wash plate. We could also use another weighing dish. This is a plastic weighing dish in order to kind of measure out how much we're getting out. Now the important thing about this though is that when we scoop some out and we put it inside of our weighing dish, let's say we don't use all of it, never put the used stuff back into the original container, okay? You can contaminate your sample, your supply. You put it back into the bottle, you just contaminated everything in there, okay? Now with liquids, it's very important that as we pour these liquids out, we want to pour the liquid on the non-sticker side, okay? So if you see there, I want to kind of pour it where there's no sticker. As you can imagine, if I pour it and the liquid gets onto the sticker, it's going to ruin the label. It's going to take away any of the important information that I need to be aware of. Also, when we're pouring, it's oftentimes we need to think about what we're pouring into, making sure that we're not splashing or doing anything else like that. One of the best tools for that is this little guy right here, which is a funnel. Now it's important to know, and you might want to read your instruction on your labels here, is do we need a glass funnel or do we need a plastic funnel? Because again, some of these compounds, some of these molecules can react with plastic and cause a reaction with that. It can melt the plastic, things like that. So you want to be careful making sure you're using the right equipment in order to take chemicals out of their original containers. All right, that's it for today's chemistry tip.